Critters Uncaged was supposed to involve a snake, but I'm told the snake was extra bitey today. So we get a turtle. Here for Critters Uncaged is U of I Wildlife Medical Clinic's Dr. Sam Sander, and hopefully a turtle that is less bitey than the snake that was originally scheduled to appear.
Indeed. So this is Hazel. She is our eastern box turtle who has been with us since about 2017.
She looks very friendly and interested in everything that's going on.
Indeed. She was found in the woods and picked up by somebody who thought that she needed a home, and he kept her as a pet for a bit. But unfortunately, that made her non-releasable. She's a bit too friendly for her own good. So she stays with us so that we can talk to people about turtles and how to better engage with them in the wild.
Well, let's talk about turtles and reptiles just in general that we might be finding out and about. This sort of 'tis the season for seeing turtles trying to cross a road or something out in the wild. So should we do anything other than just go, ooh, look, a turtle, when we see something?
Well, when a turtle is crossing the road, if it's safe to do so, then certainly helping them across that road can be beneficial for you and all the other, and the turtle and any of the other cars around. Nobody wants to hit a turtle accidentally with their car, and certainly those shell fractures can be pretty significant. So getting them off the road and out of that trouble can be helpful, but you always want to take them in the direction they're already heading. If you take them back where their butt is pointed, they'll go back again.
You could just try to cross the road all over again.
They'll just try to cross it all over again. So they'll be mad at you, but otherwise you won't have helped them. So taking them in the direction they're already pointed is really important. And then it's otherwise leaving them alone as much as we can. Some of these turtles only live within about a 1 mile radius their entire lives. So it's really important that they stay by the trees and the bushes that they already know.
Is there any danger to humans depending on the type of turtle you were to try to move? I know there are some are snapping turtles. Some of you would maybe not like the fact that you were reaching down to grab them. Is there any concern about that in our part of the country?
So snapping turtles is probably the biggest one that I would worry about. And they have a very long neck and very strong bite. And so we want to make sure that everyone always tries to avoid that end. They actually have an impressive reach. And so if you're going to catch a snapping turtle, staying near the tail and just supporting that bottom shell and never going more than halfway up the bottom is really important.
Do you know that before they try to snap?
Well, if you need to know what a snapping turtle looks like.
Yes.
Or just err on the side of caution and stay toward the back end no matter what.
How would you know a turtle was in trouble or needed medical attention beyond, like, I'm just going to help it across the road, but it needs something more from a professional like you do?
Absolutely. So if you can see that there's obvious fractures of the shell, then certainly they need some medical care. The shell is actually made in part of bone, so it'd be just like you or I breaking a bone. So they need to see a doctor for that. Otherwise, sometimes we can see them with kind of discharge from their eyes or their nose, and they just look, I think the general person would look at it and go, that's not a healthy turtle. Okay. Otherwise, these guys are actually really hardy, and most of the time when they come to us, unless they have a shell fracture, they were better being left where they were.
Out of curiosity, if a shell is like bone and acts sort of that way, how do you treat a shell fracture? You can't put a cast on it per se, I wouldn't think. Like, how does that work?
So we actually have a turtle in clinic right now that has a shell fracture on both the top and the bottom shell. And we've used some wires and some aluminum tape to actually close the shell fracture on top. On bottom, we've been able to fix that fracture in a similar way, but we also have glued with some epoxy some Legos on the bottom to protect the shell fracture.
Legos?
Legos.
Like the super flat ones?
Yep. Actually, just normal ones.
Regular block, huh?
Regular block to protect that fracture so that she's not bumping it as she's healing.
If you had another turtle with the exact same thing and had the opposite Legos, you could, like, stick the two together.
We could, but I don't know that they would like that.
Probably. And it also might not help them heal, which is really what we're trying to do. You were going to bring a snake in. Is there anything we need to know quickly about snakes?
So most of the snakes in the area are harmless to us. They can be quite startling. Probably the biggest one that we get is the garter snake, and they can move fast and they're quite startling, but they're honestly harmless to people. There are about 4 species of venomous snakes in Illinois that people should be aware of, the cottonmouth, things along those lines. But for the most part, unless you see like the diamondback or whatnot, chances are the snake is probably harmless to you, and it's best to leave it alone and let it be.
The heart attack is worse than the bite.
Yes.
Got it. All right. Well, if you want more details on how maybe you found something in the wild, or if you come across one in the summer and don't know what to do, we will connect you with the U of I Wildlife Medical Clinic via our website. There's a look at their website on the screen. Just go to CILiving.tv.